So what were you just? You were just watching something saying that the. What was it saying? What did it say?
That
The
every
Israel in 2003.
I think so. Yeah, since 11 years ago, I think it said is when he retired. But yeah, basically that they've been humans have been giving aliens permission for decades to probably centuries to perform experiments here to search and research the universe,
Uh huh.
and they wanted help from us for centuries. And there's a federation involved, galactic federation involved, with everything that's going on. Like, so it's pretty much.
That's hardcore as fuck. So we've been we've been dealing with aliens for fucking ever.
Forever.
Forever.
They just didn't want to create mass hysteria. That's been
What
the
they say?
whole.
People aren't ready yet.
People aren't ready yet. Mass hysteria. That's they're trying to avoid. But I feel like if
You think you're ready?
yeah,
If you were to find out today the aliens actually existed, would you be like, how would you react?
I'd be like, I fucking know it. Where are they? I want to meet them.
I'm trying to think like what type of mass hysteria could there really be?
Oh my god, aliens!
Like what if
dude,
it happened and
it's
then
been,
everyone just like lost their shit and
dude,
were just
there's so
running
much
around?
proof already. Like I feel like everybody's like, oh, I knew it. Like whenever you like talk to somebody about aliens, you're like, yeah. So let's talk about aliens. You believe the real? 9 people out of 10 people are gonna be like, yeah. And then if you're like, okay, well, let's talk about this and that. That's always an open conversation. Like anytime I'm on a date with a girl and there's nothing else to talk about,
Talk
like they're
about
just
aliens.
dry as shit. I always talk about aliens. Oh
So this conversation is going nowhere.
yeah.
What's your idea on aliens? So I feel like everybody that I know is like, there's no way there's aliens, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Like, how can you actually think that?
yeah. Like it's too much proof, bro. Like literally, it's too much proof. Like it's too many photographs, too many unexplainables, and then there's, like I said, Hollywood just leaks everything, dude. Hollywood just leaks everything.
Hollywood's already known all
they make a
this.
parody about everything, and it's just like everybody knows, bro. Like everybody knows. Like,
That's common knowledge at this point. But
yeah, it's like
I think it's weird though. Now that the whole like debriefing thing is coming June 1st,
yeah,
now all of a sudden like now we're seeing alien ships and now we're hearing more about aliens and now aliens are a big deal. But like the past like 10 years, it's been like,
yeah, bro.
what's it called? It's been like fucking what, like you can't do it. You can't talk about it.
Yeah,
Like
and
you talk
it's-
about it and it's like frowned upon. Like, are you
Yeah.
fucking crazy? You're a conspiracy theorist. Da 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 da. And now it's like CNN reported about it. CNN reported about aliens like this week,
And
bro.
this isn't Fox News. It's not bullshit. Like Fox News always puts bullshit out.
I mean, the news in general, I'll be honest with you, the news in general is always bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, when the news is starting to talk about aliens, bullshit or not, whether the news is actually bullshit or not, I mean, it's becoming a public thing. Like they're talking they're talking about aliens on the same station they're talking about like COVID.
Yeah.
Like it's that
is.
real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Yeah, and there's definitely proof. Like everybody knows about Area 51, but it's just like now that Trump is like, yeah, well, we're actually gonna be able to open it up like a fucking museum, and have people know everything about Area 51. It's like
We're not ready.
this
We're
was
not
like a
ready.
Year, yeah, this was like a year ago too, right before the pandemic, and I think that's low key why he was trying to delay the pandemic, because he was low key trying to pass that shit, and then he was like, nah, I can't do it yet. And then like literally before the end of his presidency, he's like, just in case, I'm just gonna pass this law or pass this bill or whatever to push it. And it's like,
Just being an asshole.
yeah.
It's like, all right, Biden, now it's
like,
yours.
If you think about it, Trump's like the second president that wasn't a politician before he was a president. So like, he's like just like one of us, like sitting at home, like wondering the same shit.
Dude, imagine if you got in office. First thing you're doing, Not. I mean, I don't know about first thing, but like you're definitely making that a priority.
Oh yeah.
I would for sure.
Bro, I'm going to Area 51 on a monthly basis, bro. Probably a weekly basis. I'll probably just move there and say I'm in the White House. Only come back to the White House. I mean, you have
you just living in Area 51.
You have Air Force One. Like you can fly wherever the fuck you want, whenever you want. Like, hey, I'm going to fucking Japan
free.
Today. Let the fucking Prime Minister of Japan know I'm coming in there. I'm just gonna chill though. I'm not gonna be in like
not on some political shit.
Yeah,
I'm just going
chilling.
for sushi.
Yeah, I'm just going for
sushi and anime.
Sushi and robots and anime. Hey, I'm just going there to chill, bro. Nani? Nani? Literally, bro.
No, but that's, I mean, just the amount of shit. Like, I mean, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, mad shit about fucking aliens now. And it's like, you think about, like, even a year or two ago.
Oh, yeah.
Never saw shit about it.
Like,
never.
Don't get me wrong. Like, there's definitely been people for years. Like, if you ever go to New Mexico.
Crazy conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
That's what they're deemed as when they talk about aliens.
Yeah, but, like, if you go to New Mexico, there's, like, 1 trillion satellites all over New Mexico for some reason. And they're all, like, moving towards trying to figure out where these aliens are coming from, everything. Another thing, too, that kind of makes me think is, like, how they say messages are sent in space. Like, like our radio waves are being sent out. So, like, the further you go out in space, the more you'd hear, like, American radio waves or even, what's that, Morse code? You'd hear Morse code and everything. It's going outer space because it's, like rippling off the Earth. So, like, if you go to, like, Pluto right now, you'd see fuck out of here. If you go to Pluto right now, you probably hear shit from like the first radio or whatever, you know what I mean?
1900s.
Yeah, so like sound is just going away from the Earth. So the closer the aliens get, they're probably like cruising through our solar system slowly because they're like, oh, we can hear shit, you know what I mean? So
it's like when you're driving in a car and you just pick up a radio station from like a different city, and you're just like, oh, word,
yeah,
it's different.
It's pretty cool, yeah. But they're picking up like all the way. They probably like, it reminds me of like Transformers when Bumblebee can't talk and he's like talking through our radio, but like once you figure out like they ask like I think they asked like Optimus Prime like, how did you learn English? It's like, oh, I learned it through the radio. So like they can like learn our language and our culture through the radio. It makes it easier to blend in though. Like if they're like walking around it with us, they could like literally bring up a memory from whatever, and our dates are in, you know, we talk about.
I mean, a lot of people from other countries learn English that way.
Yeah, true.
Like you're
just watching
your parents. Are they from?
My dad's from Puerto Rico. My mom's from here.
Did he already know English, or he learned it when he got here?
My dad had to learn it when he came here.
Yeah, like my dad.
Yeah.
He said that the main way he learned English is watching General Hospital. That's how he learned it.
That's bad. Buddy.
So that's what the aliens are doing.
Yeah, they're literally just like learning our culture, learning everything like through our media, which is dope.
It's the best way to do it, though.
Yeah,
that's fucking. That's what we are.
We're just media junkies.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's how we learn how to tell a joke. Like, if I want to say something funny, I'm just gonna reference a movie. You know what I mean? Like, where did you go, my girl? Oh, you only brought one back for yourself, dick.
You done?
Yeah, bruh.
Jesus Christ, man.
What a dick.
My bad.
Talk about hospitality these days.
I don't know about none of that.
Come on, I can't get a fucking beer. Come on, who do you use thing size hams?
Who do you think size aims? Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
We live, baby. We live. All right.
Alright.
I figured, getting up out of the chair would give me a little more energy, and it did.
Yeah.
I did a line of coke in the back. That's neither here nor there. Well, welcome to episode
9.
8? No. Oh, wait, hold.
9.
I got you. Of course it doesn't show which episode it is here. Why would it?
Pretty sure it's 9.
Sure. All right. Welcome to episode number 9 of the Checked In podcast. Got Michael here and Zach.
Chill boy.
Chill boy Zach. This episode is sponsored by Popple, your digital business card. Professionals put Popple on their phones and keys to instantly share contact info with everyone they meet. The best part, the other person doesn't need a Popple or an app to receive your information. Buy yours now at www.popple.co. That's www.popl.co. And use code CHECKEDIN at checkout to receive a 20% off discount and help out the podcast. Obviously, you want to help out your boy, Zach. So why wouldn't you? Today's episode is going to be about the aliens.
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 We're back on that topic, folks.
We can't ever leave the aliens, but with June being the month where we're going to be debriefed on all things alien, UFO, UPO, UAP, TGI, whatever. We're getting debriefed on everything.
Whatever, whenever.
However. We're getting all the information, and it was only right for us to put a podcast out there talking about everything we know. And at this point, we're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're talking about the facts, the hard facts.
No fiction.
None.
Area 51 is now Area 50 free. Eee.
Ba-dum.
Eee.
Ah, shit. But yeah, so obviously all over the news, CNN, Fox, you name it, they're talking about aliens, UFOs, and how the Department of Intelligence, the U.S. Senate is basically, so the U.S. Senate has ordered the U.S. intelligence community head and the Secretary of State to deliver a report on the topic of UFOs and aliens by June 1st. Now that alone is crazy because for the past 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, anyone talking about aliens was basically just looked at like they were crazy. You're crazy. Zach, you're crazy.
Soy crazy.
Estás crazy.
Soy loco.
So with
Me llamo loco.
with that information being put out there, obviously there's going to be a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon, and I mean, you got some pretty big names in here confirming the aliens are actually real. We got Marco Rubio, we got Barack Obama, we got Bob Lazar, we got Linda Howe, we got everybody. Everybody's on here. But before we get started, Zach, do you believe in aliens?
I do.
Why?
I do believe in fairies. I do. No, I'm kidding. I believe in aliens because it's I don't know. It's just too much. It's too much out there. It's too much proof. There's no way it's not there.
Proof of what?
Since the camera's been invented, there's been too many photographs, too many videos, too many, just everything. Sightings, documentations, ancient indigenous peoples' documentations on their walls and their scribes and everything like that. It's too much proof. Too much proof. The History Channel knows. Hollywood knows. I know. He knows. If you don't know at home, stay woke.
We're going to check you in.
Check you in for sure.
You like that? Use the name in the podcast? Shit.
I like that.
Copyright right there. Copyright.
Has
Checked
a
in.
ring to it.
The C in the copyright logo is actually for checked in, if you didn't know that.
Actually, it is, yeah. Before its time, but always on time.
You know what I'm saying. But, so I just thought it was weird that since it's been public knowledge that the UFO and alien information is going to be declassified come June 1st, now all of a sudden you can't go on social media without seeing a video of somebody recording a UFO, somebody taking a picture of a UFO. And with the cameras that we got on now, like, the camera quality is insane now. So now you're seeing things. Granted, there's a lot of editing software that can make that happen, but you're seeing videos from all walks of life everywhere. You got videos from third world countries that do not look doctored whatsoever. And it's becoming harder and harder to think there's no way they don't exist. There's no way.
There's no way. There's no possible way they don't. I mean, going back to there's a story about an Australian girl who meets an alien in a spacesuit, and there's a picture that she took that she got for like a birthday gift, and the alien's in like this hazmat looking suit, and he like plays with her, gives her this toy, and she never got rid of the toy, and then so there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's the whole thing with Egypt. Egypt, being like an alien like center for them to contact. That's why the Egyptians had electricity. Everything was like the light beams in all three pyramids were going up, so the aliens would know where to come to. Like all this stuff, like it's crazy.
It's like a landing pad.
The hieroglyphs and like the stuff on the written in the temples or the pyramids. I'm sorry. Have everything mapped out in a way where there's definitely alien activity. They drew them differently though. I mean, than the typical alien. A lot of them believe that the gods of this, the gods of that, were technically aliens. So there's a whole conspiracy behind that.
Do you believe that?
I do.
Do you believe that their gods were the aliens?
I do and I don't. I do believe that people can worship anything. But I do believe that there was some alien activity there. However, I also believe that also has to do with some kind of just discrediting an African civilization for it to be what it is today, just a great civilization in general. I do believe that maybe they had some help from giants that were helping them build the pyramids, but I don't believe entirely that the pyramids were solely based for alien purposes. But I do believe that the aliens had some influences on the Egyptian culture, yes.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. And
I believe the world powers want to make Africa look like a slum, or look dumbed down, or look like an ancient thing, because they don't want to reveal how disgusting they were when they came and imperialized it and colonized it, and they don't want to look like assholes to their own people. So I think that's what it is with Israel. But back to Australia. If you ever notice, aliens like secluded areas. They don't like to be abroad. Australia? Maybe it's something that their code. Yeah, Australia is very secluded. It's a continent, it's an island, all in its own area in the middle of the ocean. So I think that was an ideal spot for them to land. Egypt, however, I don't know. Maybe they were secluded enough, but they're like in the middle of a desert next to a river. So I feel like they were probably advanced, and the aliens are probably like, oh, they look better than the rest of the world at this point in time. Let's just touch down here. But Australia, I believe, if you ever look at like all their like markings and all that stuff, if you remember the movie Avatar with the blue people, I believe their sequel is coming out pretty soon. I think it's like 2022 or 2023. But they mimic a lot of the paint and like body paint in that movie from indigenous people on Earth. Obviously, it's Earthling made the movie, but if you think about it, they literally kind of almost mimic their body paintings and like dots and lines and stuff like that, almost like a spot on with the Australian indigenous people. But I believe that they were very close to aliens for a while, just based on my personal research, what I've seen. A lot of their like paintings on the walls and the caves and the mountains or whatever, a lot of them have to do with looking up towards people in the sky and stuff like that. It's also one of the most like Australia is like obviously like one of those like places where people don't really care about too much, or like I feel like anything that's not really like a hot spot to the world is probably somewhere they're trying to keep secrets, aka Australia. Aka Australia is very secluded as well. I think Japan also had some alien activity there. Look how advanced their civilization is compared to the rest of the world. They're like light years ahead of no pun intended, light years ahead in technology.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Japan was starting to get visited by aliens after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Because the bomb made the aliens come there to check out what was going on. And that's why they're that advanced.
Yeah, and there was a soil sample that came from outer space from one of the first Japanese astronauts. And they were kind of, it kind of rose some attention around the Trump administration when, some of his colleagues were talking about it in a press conference. And... a lot of that stuff's been brought up. Speaking about the Trump administration, Pence, Vice President Pence, was a firm, I guess, structure in the movement to creating a space force for America.
Number one advocate.
If you look at a lot of his speeches, he has been a huge advocate in creating the space force. Renamed Cape Canaveral Air Force Station as the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, which is pretty dope because of the Air Force has been one of the main people that have been seeing all the weird shit. Not only America's Air Force, but a lot of the Air Forces around the world from multiple countries have been kind of debriefing and witnessing a lot of alien UFO technology that has been identified, obviously unidentified objects. But
you seen some of those videos?
I have. They're moving like sporadically throughout, random movements, just defying physics and everything that we know.
Imagine you're in your jet thinking that you are like the fastest, most elite object in the sky.
Oh yeah.
And then as you're flying, something just pulls up right next to you, matches your speed, starts flying up, down, goes around you. And then you're sitting there like, yo, what is this? Yeah. And then you send out something to your like control base. Hey, is there something else going on around here? Like there's another space or there's another aircraft around me. What's going on? Oh, we have no idea. And then the thing just goes, okay, we'll see your Mach 12 and we're just gonna and leave. Literally. Like what?
Just dips on you.
What?
Yeah, they can warp space, time, matter, everything. It's cool because this is like the 5th episode we're talking about Hitler again, but
we're bringing it back.
It's cool because dude was smart, man. Dude was smart and he knew how to put people in power. I guess that's all you have to know how to do. Like you can be the coach of a team, you don't actually have to do the work, but you got to know how to put people in the right positions to get things accomplished.
Hitler was playing he was playing Robert Kraft.
Outside of his insane racism. He was smart as shit. The dude knew how to put a pie together. And make
Aside from that small thing.
Yeah. So
but he was smart. You're right. Absolutely.
He literally, all of his scientists were like the founding fathers of NASA. I think it's actually pretty funny. Like after World War II, a lot of crazy stuff was happening because the world, I feel like, was open. And that's when like the world leaders all came together to like establish like a world peace type of thing. But I think it's crazy because after World War II or like around World War II era, uranium was just randomly plotted into our periodic table of elements that was never there before for centuries.
What?
And so if uranium has always been a part of Earth, why have we just put it in there in the 1900s and not like before when like Sir Francis Bacon and whoever else, all these other scientists and whatever.
Something don't add up.
Yeah, so I feel like uranium it's part of the nuclear explosion, but I think it's just crazy how, or atom explosion as well, atom bomb, nuclear bomb, whatever. It's one of the key ingredients, and I think it's just crazy how that came up out of nowhere.
Right.
Just just put it on the periodic table element.
Where'd this come from? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it at all. You know what I mean? But I think it's just crazy how that all kind of stems from that era when everything was kind of being discovered illegal, or like I don't want to say illegally, but inhumanely.
In a different kind of way.
Yeah, in a different kind of way. So I mean that whole thing kind of blows my mind. It's like, so we got a whole bunch of random stuff, and then the space race starts like a decade after that, and then it's like, you know, what's like, I think it's just America responding, or not America, just the world responding to wanting to get more involved with aliens, and trying to match their, like, showing them that we weren't stupid. You know what I mean? That we weren't just imbecile beings.
So, if Nazi scientists were... I'm mad that I didn't think about any of this before we did this. I'm literally coming to this as you're talking, which is dope. You guys do this too. If Nazi scientists were brought into the U.S. and created NASA, and Hitler was obsessed with aliens and the Aryan race, which was a race of aliens.
Yeah.
So basically, the Nazi scientists knew about the existence of aliens, came to America, made NASA to find a way to go to space to meet with these aliens.
And to reverse engineer the crash. There's a bunch of crash landings.
That makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense, bro.
Holy shit.
It just makes me wonder, like, did Hitler actually have contact with them? And just kind of, like, built a nation around, like, or a government, I should say, or, like, a secret, obviously Nazi, but, like, a secret organization, a.k.a. Nazis, to kind of maybe gain more wisdom and understanding about, you know, the extraterrestrial races, I should say.
Dude, yeah, I was watching, actually, on the History Channel. He actually did. So, the Aryan race was actually the Nordic aliens. Okay. So the race that Hitler wanted, the blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect, whatever, that was actually, I saw it was on the History Channel. Yeah. They were saying he was taking this image of the perfect person from the Nordic aliens, who are, you know, humanoid aliens, blonde hair, blue eyes. So he was actually making a decision to make it so that the human race looked identical to the Nordic alien race.
That's crazy. And Nordic is like Norway, like
that. Yeah, that same type of complexion. Yeah.
So like, and those people are pretty much like
all blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah, they love the cold. A lot of aliens come from cold places. From my research, so it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that makes sense why they would be in Antarctica. It makes sense why they'd be in a lot of different colder areas of the world, which I think is pretty cool. Like, maybe they're like, they need the cold like we need the heat. I mean, makes sense. I mean, like, the world in general has a lot of different climates, a lot of different areas where there's like winter and stuff like that, which also makes me think about like the Himalayas, how like it's like so undiscoverable. Like Mount Everest is the hardest mountain to climb and stuff like that. But also you got to think, like, Japan has a lot of mountains, Mount Fuji. Like, why wouldn't they go there? Like, why wouldn't they be in the Rocky Mountains? Why wouldn't they be, you know, in these other high altitude,
colder places,
closer to you know, the atmosphere, closer to space, but also be in these colder climates? I mean, I think it's just like a key thing. Like, it's just something that goes hand in hand with one another.
Absolutely.
Or under the earth where it's really cold. I mean, obviously, like, there's colder places and hotter places. Obviously, closer you get to the center of the earth, it's supposedly hotter. But I mean, I feel like it just makes sense. Like, why not? It reminds me kind of like that movie Riddick, where like there's like a whole prison underground and like there's people living under there, and like the surface of the earth in the movie Riddick is like, it's like Mars. You can't live up there, it's too hot. But like underneath it, there's like a whole civilization underneath that. So it's like I said, Hollywood hints at a lot of stuff. Specifically, Men in Black is like probably one of my favorite series of movies now, because like literally Galactic Federation. There's a relationship between humans and Earthlings. There's aliens. Or humans or Earth, I'm sorry, humans and aliens. There's aliens living amongst humans that look like humans, disguise themselves as humans. The whole 9 yards with that. I just feel like there's too much proof in Hollywood where it's like, okay, this is a parody, this is make believe, this is science fiction,
Till it
blah
happens.
blah blah. Till it happens, like, dude, in June we're literally like 4 days, 5 days away from June, and it's all about to hit the fan, and everybody's gonna be like, dude, I effing knew it, I knew it, I knew what's going on. Like, I'm gonna be one of them, bro.
Nice
I'm
censorship.
gonna be digging deep in this stuff in June. Like, I'm probably gonna book a trip to Vegas just to go to Area 51 if they ever open it. Like,
They're gonna have to eventually.
yeah, for sure.
But back to the aliens real quick to throw some fact your way. So everyone who's saying that aliens don't exist and how anyone who talks about aliens is a conspiracy theorist, you got Marco Rubio in the corner of aliens exist, talking about on 60 Minutes on CBS that the U.S. should take UFOs seriously. Marco Rubio said that. Right. Then, former Pentagon director claims that the U.S. government is in possession of exotic materials from UFO crashes, which is very well where uranium comes from. A UFO crash. Very well. And then, real well-known man right here, Barack Obama even claimed that all of this is real, said what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. That's a quote from Barack Obama. So, the president, a senator, and a former Pentagon director all are in the corner of aliens exist.
Yes.
So you can't tell me aliens don't exist when the people who would know the most about it say they do.
Not only that, the Israeli director or ex-director, he's like 87 years old. He retired like 10 years ago. His name is Haim Eshed. He actually says that there's a underground base on Mars where the Galactic Federation operates in the solar system. And Galactic Federation is a term that he's used that's transliterated to from his language to our language to English. And that there's also Americans and human scientists working side by side with the aliens on Mars underground. And I think the whole thing with NASA is, like we already said, NASA literally in Hebrew means to deceive. So I think their whole angle is to, yes, give us some fact and then kind of revert our attention, because it is a government ran program, that it's kind of just like that propaganda again to kind of steer us away and focus on who discovered what and who did this and who did that, versus like what we're up against or what we're not up against, or also what we know and what we don't know. You know what I mean? So they're willing to show us like this picture, willing to give us like taste of water. There's water on this planet that we can see. There's other civilizations out there that look pretty advanced, where they use like logical math and science and stuff like that. Like, how do they know this much from a camera? Is my question. And not how do they know this much? There's another thing where they wouldn't ever tell us until now, or until a couple of days, where all this source is coming from. You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, there's freaking aliens, dude. Like, obviously, there's stuff out there. It's just like,
can't argue that.
Yeah, you cannot argue that. There's too much proof over time that's not been government proof. But now that the government is doing it, for people who only believe the government will now know that there's a bunch of stuff out there in the future.
Yeah.
So.
And what's actually coming to mind for me, what I'm thinking, to your point, what you just said.
Yeah.
Giving you a taste of the water, right? Mm-hmm. So, on June 1st, when they debrief information about aliens and stuff, we don't know, but, based on some common sense, some logic, putting some shit together, aliens live among us. We can agree on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, what if they're just giving us a taste and being like, yeah, aliens exist, and they're peaceful.
Yeah.
They come in peace, right? And eventually, as time goes on, they start giving us a little more water.
Oh, yeah,
and then finally they're like, so aliens are actually the ones in charge, and then they just stop cloaking themselves.
Yeah.
And they can just show their true form. Because there's videos.
Oh, yeah.
Did I ever show you that video of the security? It was Obama security. I showed you. So there's a video online. We'll show a picture of it right here. There's a video online where one of Obama's security guards, while he's doing a press conference or whatever, he's standing there. Lights go dim, and the video of this security guard is like, you could see the shape of him, you could see everything, like you could see that he's there, you could see his head, everything like that. And the head goes from a regular human circular skull to all of a sudden a different shape. We're going to show the picture here. I can't really describe it, but it is very, very foreign. And his head goes from a regular human to this different shape. And that, to me, means that there are, now I don't know the name, I'm going with reptilian because that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
But there are aliens, extraterrestrials within our government that we aren't told exist. So what if this just little taste of the water at the beginning of June is to set us up for they live among us.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna drop everything right on its head.
No
they're
shot.
They're gonna just be spilling. Like,
they're just gonna keep doing this kind of thing. It's like a pattern.
Yeah. And another thing too that I think is pretty cool, like I said before, there's seasons in every continent. Every continent experiences winter. Maybe
to an
not,
extent.
Closer to the equator, maybe not. But like South America, Argentina has a winter. Like there's a whole mountainscape that goes, a whole scale of mountains that go through the whole, everything. But not only that, there's winter there, there's winter in Australia, there's winter in Japan, there's winter in China, there's winter, and there's snow in every single continent. Unless they're like I said, unless they're closer to the equator. So that would just make it easier. Like here in July, we have summer, but in the other side of the world, they have summer, obviously, you know what I mean? Like China, for instance, in January, that's like their summer, like, their springtime, and then it switches the opposite side of the world. So like, why wouldn't the aliens be able to travel to all the colder places, especially when they can just move like this, rapidly whenever they want? Why wouldn't they be able to travel to all the colder places on the earth whenever they deem necessary, and whenever they need it to be in a colder climate?
Absolutely.
Because the Earth's
they
climate
probably taking Air Force One.
Oh yeah, no, I mean probably faster than that, but I mean I feel like it just makes too much sense, dude. Like it makes too much sense, and that's also why global warming is a thing, and then why it's a global awareness to help with keeping the Earth colder, because we need our friends from another world to be able to come here and establish, whatever. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Earth is being protected by aliens, by the Galactic Federation. I mean, like the Galactic Federation, I believe, was used in Lilo and Stitch as well, which is pretty funny. Like Disney knows what's
everywhere.
Yo, they know. Yeah, the Galactic Federation has been sprinkled through all the movies at some point,
Absolutely.
sometime. Star Wars, Star Trek, blah blah blah. But I mean, it's literally a real thing, and people know what they're talking about. These authors and illustrators and writers and all this stuff, producers, they all know what's going on, man. They know what's going on. If they don't know what's going on, whoever is giving them information for these, for these works of art knows what's going on.
Absolutely. I mean, and Disney owns everything.
Everything, yeah.
So Disney, I mean, Walt knows.
Walt knows.
Everything.
Even though Walt's gone, Walt knows.
Walt's frozen. Walt's cryogenically frozen. Yeah. He's not gone.
Bro,
he's just on pause.
That's the whole thing. I feel like Austin Powers, like the whole freezing man and then bringing him back, and like, bro, I mean, I don't know if that's the time traveling thing, but like, it's a form of time travel in my mind, because you're preserving somebody's body, bringing them out, and reviving them in the future. But I mean, who's to say that time travel isn't real either? You know what I mean? Like, who's to say that you know, all this stuff.
I know you've seen those pictures.
Oh yeah.
I know you've seen those pictures.
Yeah, there's people
bro.
in like clothes like from today, back in like the 40s, like, you know what I mean, just walking
somebody
around
with a Pop Smoke t-shirt.
Yeah, like literally, bro.
1950.
Yeah, like it's literally crazy. It's like that fashion wasn't there. Like the people, the way people dressed and the, you know, the common man. Like back then, everything was so uniform. Like there's no way there's a guy walking around with like a fucking a t-shirt on and like untucked and like all that stuff. They would look at him as like a bum in the street, like a tramp or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you have to realize the way the fashion works in general. Is everyone's kind of uniform in a sense. Even like hipsters or people that are trying to go against the grain. They're still wearing the same type of clothing, just different colors, different patterns, different designs. But when you see those pictures, you're talking about different fabric, different sewing,
different material, different everything. And I think too, like now that I think about fashion, everything kind of goes, it retros and then it comes back, it retros and then it goes back, or they bring something back from the past. I mean, like
right now, fashion from prime example. What is it? Tie-dye, Stonewall? Like, that was something that was like 1980s. And now it's popping now.
All this like acid wash and all this stuff. Like,
you couldn't have a shirt from the 1980s and have that shirt and be like, this is the 1980s shirt. No, that's a shirt that was made now. The 1980s shirt we know is a 1980s shirt. You could tell the difference.
So all you time travelers that are watching this, appreciate it. Hopefully,
in the comments.
Hopefully, you see us in the future as being very successful gentlemen.
Checked In is going to be the main news station. In 10 years.
You know what I mean? We're going to take over the internet. But you guys have seen everything, man. Like, you guys have seen the future, the past, the present. I mean, I'm interested in seeing that. Debunked as well. Like, hopefully Biden does it, or like somebody else that comes in after office. So
Biden's not gonna do shit, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but hopefully he does. It's like, let's just debunk time travel. Like, I just want to one up Trump. Like, I want to one up Trump. I can
believe Biden talking, man. Especially after you did that skit last episode where you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, man.
About what he said, and you didn't even listen to it. Just how messed up he sounds.
Oh yeah.
I would love it though. If Biden actually did it, whether it's a senile decision or not, to be like, these are the facts. This is what we have available to us, and we were hiding it from you the whole time.
Oh yeah.
I'd be Team Biden, bro. I don't go one way or another, but I'd be Team Biden hardcore.
Oh yeah.
If he was like, here's everything we know, boom.
Yeah, literally. And then not only that, like, I feel like there's too many older scientists that are like coming up with, like, you know, they've came out and said certain things, and like
those deathbed confessions, bro.
Yeah, like Bob Lazar, like he's not like in a you know deathbed yet, but like he literally like was the smartest guy in his time. And they basically, if you guys don't know who Bob Lazar is, they basically brought him in because he was so smart. They're like, hey, can you reverse engineer this and that and this and that, all this alien technology? He's like, after putting all the hours, he's like, no, I can't. I quit. And he like leaves Area 51 or wherever he was at. And then he just starts talking about it year after year, you know, decade after decade. He just starts dropping more dimes. And it's just like, dude, he literally knows. Like, he knows. He said it. Like, dude, he's literally in government documentation. Like, he's actually a guy that's been a part of this since, you know, they've been trying to be smart enough to do it. He was a part of the whole thing. Yeah, so it's like...
And what's crazy, too, about the Bob Lazar thing that you were saying. Yeah. He's got the Netflix documentary. He was on Joe Rogan. Like, he's a very credible source. Yeah. And like how you were saying with the uranium thing, Bob Lazar actually, in the 1980s, 1990s, was talking about element 115, right? Element 115, he was saying, was when he was reverse engineering these spacecrafts or whatever, he was saying there was element 115 present in all of them, and that's how that was one of the ingredients, I guess you could say, in these spacecrafts to help them perform this anti-gravity travel. Yeah. In 2003, in a Russian lab, they synthesized element 115 for the first time ever. And it was added to the periodic table of elements, and it's now known as Moscovium. Found in Moscow.
So we have Moscovium and uranium, and so that's just something else. So this, you gotta think about it, it's like a puzzle that they're trying to piece together, but they're just adding it to the periodic table of elements so the people aren't aren't running around in hysteria.
Right.
Is the common word that is being used around this whole subject and genre.
Right.
But I think that's nuts because it's like, dude, like eventually, like either the aliens are gonna help us do it, or they're just gonna see if we can do it ourselves. Or it's from this aliens from this area and this aliens from this area, and they're just trying to see how the two maybe correlate or not, or correlate or how they affect each other's, affect their own separate technology, in a different way, or how we can use both technologies together. But it just brings me back to thinking about uranium, how it literally vaporizes matter, which is another theory about these spacecrafts, is that they're actually not floating saucers. They're like the saucer goes vertically, and it's like if you're holding a plate up and down versus like a plate, like, where the food is well off. So if you're holding a plate up and down and then they just split, they split into whatever, and they're just gone in a second. So to me, it seems like uranium can obviously manipulate matter itself into such a way where we were probably just too simple to see when we made like those bombs and stuff, where we're like, yeah, this can disintegrate matter but also can manipulate matter, which is pretty funny because Homer Simpson works at a uranium plant, and the Simpsons know, and the Simpsons have always had an alien in every single one of their seasons, and they've always interacted with the younger children on the show, which makes 1,000% chance, because the most alien interactions recorded by man have been primarily with younger men and women and children. 1,000%. If you go back to Men in Black 3, the main character has this toy in her collection, and it's an alien. If you go back to E.T., it's a child, and the whole movie is based around children interacting with aliens. So I think it's like, it just makes sense. Even Peter Pan, not from this world, from another world, comes and he's stuck in a kid's form, but he's like centuries old, and he's just a child and basically interacts with children. It's like a common theme that aliens and children there's some connection with them where they feel more comfortable around children, and with younger adults and stuff like that. So I mean, like, I think that's just crazy. And The Simpsons is a show primarily for younger people, but I mean, it's such an oldish classic show that everybody watches it.
You know what you just did? You connected the dots.
Damn.
But not for real. I mean, The Simpsons are that's a prime example of a modern day time traveler.
Oh yeah,
The Simpsons.
For sure.
I mean, The Simpsons predicted Donald Trump being president. The Simpsons. Have you seen that one scene from The Simpsons that literally, no joke, to a T, is exactly Trump going down the escalator, someone holding a sign, the sign dropping what the sign said.
Oh yeah,
all of it in the same clothing.
Oh yeah.
You can't just guess that.
You can't. And they predicted Tom Brady being the GOAT of football, after him being the underdog and just completely
115th pick.
Yeah, literally.
Like, you're not gonna guess that.
Yeah, they predicted him, out of all people, being the GOAT. So I mean, like I said, Hollywood knows.
This ain't just guessing, bro.
Yeah, Hollywood knows, man. It's not guessing. They know it's good. Obviously, they're gonna make jokes and make it entertainment because that's what they're for, and that's what sells and pays the bills.
And I feel like that also makes it so that people are like, oh, no, that's a joke. You can't take that seriously. But then if you're looking at The Simpsons, there's so many scenarios that The Simpsons are correct about.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, all right, it was a joke when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
But then fast forward 10, 15 years. What in the actual, what is going on?
Yeah, and not only that, if you think about it, anytime there's something political going on or something that the government wants to release, they use... you got to think, like, all the Tonight shows always play, their part in joking and, like, literally, like, just calming down society.
Keeping it lighthearted.
Yeah, keeping it lighthearted. Oh, this is a joke, blah, 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 get back to work. In a sense, like, ha, 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 look at what they said. This is a joke, get back to work. SNL, literally, all the Tonight Show hosts from David Letterman, Jimmy Kimmel, everybody, even back in the day, like what's it called, Ricky Lake, you know, all those older. That's like their role in society is to kind of just lightly push off any seriousness to something that's serious or something that we should be paying attention to. They kind of like laugh about it and push it off to the next subject, and then they distract you with the celebrity, which is another thing too, that celebrities are a distraction for, you know, obviously. Like look at anything that goes on in like real life, and then they just throw a celebrity in there and kind of get everybody distracted, and you know, kind of just, you know, plays it, dumps it down for everybody. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like,
and if you notice, anytime there's like a big event that happens,
oh yeah,
there's always some type of celebrity like mishap or like some shit that goes down to like divert your attention.
Yeah.
From the actual like what's important.
Oh yeah. I think what you told me earlier was pretty cool too. I would say pretty cool. But about the Israeli government, the American government, and it's funny because Israel and America are the main ones pushing this. Oh, let's just tell everybody that the aliens are there. You know what I mean? But basically, you told me that because of the whole Palestine, you know, Israel conflict, that Israel was using all of its missiles to kind of deflect all the missiles that were being launched at them. And, you know, Israel, if you guys don't know, Israel's going through a tough time right now with this, I guess, civil war is what they're calling it. Yeah, that U.S. basically is giving them, like, trillions of dollars worth of missiles paid by our tax dollars that's going over there. So maybe this is something that they're trying to distract us with. But I think it's something that you know, is worth talking about. But I think it is a distraction. Maybe they are trying to give us some fact or something to just focus on, and everybody. Maybe they are trying to cause some hysteria behind it, so we don't notice certain things that they're doing. But all of us woke brethren out here and brother women are actually looking in both rooms at the same time from the same hallway. You know what I mean? We're looking at, you know, the bullshit, and we're looking at, you know, the real shit. Yeah. So I think that's pretty dope that they're trying to do that, but we're one step ahead, and that's why you got to stay checked in with us, because we know what's going on. We are the source of the sources. You know what I mean? So right. I think that's a pretty funny coincidence, like, around this time. I mean, and like I said, the Trump administration spent a lot of time in Israel. Trump has spent a lot of time making peace with Israel because they know a lot of shit that we don't, or they know a lot of shit that Trump wanted to know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Knowledge is power. Wisdom is currency. Okay.
And to piggyback off of that too, if you think about social media and the presence social media has nowadays, we're getting all of our information from social media, whether it be true or not, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of people getting some actual fact from social media.
True.
And when you see the things on social media, and if you're someone who sees this shit on social media and fact checks it, a lot of it's true if you're following the right sources.
Oh, yeah.
So it's come to a time, I mean, our parents, they just believe what the news says.
Yeah.
Like, I know my parents, they started watching a different news station because it doesn't correspond with their belief system.
Yeah.
And it's like you're picking and choosing what you're watching, what you're listening to.
Oh, yeah.
But like people like us, our age, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're actually seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
So now the government has to take a different stance. What can we do to divert their attention from what we want to divert their attention from? And now it's like, well, shit, we got to bring up something big so that it covers all the social media accounts and all the platforms so that we can still get by with what we're trying to do. And what's the biggest thing that we could do? Our generation is probably the biggest generation that believes in aliens. Yeah. Our parents' generation, if you believe in aliens, you're crazy. Yeah. Our generation, if you don't believe in aliens, you're crazy.
Yeah. And it's literally, I think, it's just you know, the world power just trying to cover all their bases with that. But my thing is, too, we're the generation that's the rebellion. We're the generation that questions why to everything. Everything. Like, if you're a kid, you got in trouble, you're like, why? Why did this happen? Why did I get in trouble? What is this? Why is this? Our parents' generation is kind of there, just go with the flow, go with what you know, and don't question nothing. You know what I mean? We're like the question. We're Generation X because X, the letter X itself, is a variable. Okay, it is used in math as a variable. We're Generation X because it's a variable. You know what I mean? We are the variable generation. We're the ones that they're not sure of. We're the ones that they're not sure about, and we're the ones that we're not sure about them either. So I mean, it's kind of like, you know, that's literally we're the variable generation. We're the the test tube generation. We're the ones that they're testing everything on, and I think that it's gonna work out in our favor because eventually we're gonna be old enough where we are the influence, we are the parents, we are the whatever. So our time is coming. Don't worry about that.
I'm right.
Yeah.
And to go back to the alien thing though, real quick. So American investigative journalist and regional Emmy award-winning documentary filmmaker Linda Moulton Howe.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a video interview that she did, and she said, and I quote, "Our government has proof that 3 competing extraterrestrial civilizations have been using this planet as a laboratory for genetic manipulation, which can be a solid explanation for the gap in evolution between us being apes and us being human. Because there is, in the 5 or 6 step evolution, there's a gap that no scientist can explain. Something was added to our DNA at that time."
Yeah.
And she goes on to say that these extraterrestrials are living underground, on the moon, on Mars, and probably throughout the solar system and beyond. And this is from her interviewing and talking to employees of the Pentagon, of the government, all of that. So there's so much proof that aliens are here.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, if you don't believe aliens are real, you're looking away from fact. Yeah. You're turning a blind eye to pure fact.
Yeah,
and that's something you can't be doing if you're listening to us.
Yeah.
If you're checked in, you can't be ignoring this.
Yeah. At all. You can't ignore
anything.
And I just want to say, based on that, I mean, you got to look back to, like I said, everything. Why do all the older world civilizations always have something going up? Everybody's eyes are up. Everything reverts to something coming from the skies, coming from the heavens, which is the skies. So, I think that it's time to wake up, people. We got to look beyond the clouds here. And because you're in the clouds, you're daydreaming. If you're above the clouds, you're woke. You're down looking. You've gone past the clouds and you're looking down on everything else. And let's discern what we know and what we don't know, and let's also not be, what's the word? Let's not have that calluses on our eyelids here, and let's really just be woken up to everything that we're gonna be woken up to. Because if you're not woke now, believe me, you're gonna have a rude awakening later. Yeah, that's the hysteria that they're trying to prevent. But yeah, that's in a whole is bananas, man. Like I can't believe that we're finally gonna get that taste that we've been waiting for. All the older people, man, how woke do you think they're gonna feel? How right do you think they're gonna feel? They're gonna go to their friends' graves and talk to them like, hey, they know aliens are real. They just admitted it. Everything's going on. You guys are missing it, and I wish you were here to see this. Blah 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 blah. We're not gonna be the ones to do that. We're gonna be the ones, like I said, we're the variable generation, and I don't think that there's anything that's really gonna shock our generation. Maybe the elderly will be shocked, but because like if you think about it, all the movies back then were kind of like about that. Like, oh, the joke was, oh, you believe in aliens? What are you? You believe in aliens? You know what I mean? Like, oh, what are you? This guy believes in aliens. Who's this guy? You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like like you said, frowned upon. But with all that being said, you guys have officially been checked in. I want you guys to subscribe, like, and definitely comment your opinions, what you think. respond to us in the comments. We will respond back actively. I promise. Like, comment, subscribe.